princess is missing.
What are we gonna do?
Stay tuned to find out.
Stay tuned.
Welcome back, Gainers, to another incredible, fantastic episode of ComicGains. If you're new to the show, I'm Adam.
I'm Zach, and
Uh-oh.
where is she? Where is she? Stay tuned to the end to find out.
Yeah, well, I'll give you a special update at the end of the show to let you know what happened to the princess on this rare episode of just Adam and Zach.
Zach, the best episode of ComicGains history.
And Coco's down there somewhere. She's here with us. We still have the dog.
So, I guess half bow? Half bow.
Half mast. Put your flags at half mast, everybody. All right, guys. So today is Monday, and we're back to you on Monday with what?
Amazing drop list.
Brand new drop list for the week.
Crazy one, too.
Where the ComicGains crew looks back at 1 year ago for trending lists, hot lists, any kind of list that people are coming up with, and try to figure out which one of those books has taken a dip in the market and the reason why. Why they were hot a year ago and why they may have a dip now. And some of these you might want to pick up. Some of these you might want to forget. It's just a good way to remember some books that were hot like a while. Sometimes I'm like, man, I really want to get that book, but it's not the right time, and then I totally forget that I wanted to get that book. This is a good way to remind you.
I like the way you said dip. I usually say the word dump, and that doesn't sound as sophisticated.
Don't forget about dodge.
Oh, dip, dive, duck, and dodge.
The 5 Ds of comics.
I got a D for it. Alright, I got a BLK, More Than Water, Black Cherry. It's more, obviously.
I think the black, right, is that black water? Because BLK is like the abbreviation for black, right?
Oh, but it's Black Cherry.
Black, more than, or is it bulk more than water? Black more than water?
I don't.
You be the judge.
I don't know. We need to talk to these guys' marketing team.
How does
I don't
this
think
taste?
How does it taste? All right. It's refreshing. Wow.
Is it good?
It's really good.
Is it carbonated?
No. It's very smooth. Just kind of water feel, but like with a slight cherry feel. I like it in my mouth.
No.
I mean, no, that doesn't sound right.
Sometimes it goes that. You know what else is really smooth? Hanging out with us on Whatnot every Saturday.
Whatnot.
Oh yeah, the little Whatnot guy. Yeah, every Saturday, come kick it with the ComicGains crew. We are on every Saturday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, unless otherwise stated. And the princess kicks off our show for us actually at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I think hopefully if she's back, if she ever comes back, she'll be on next week. I don't know. We'll have to find out. We will see. All right, let's kick it off because you guys came here for those games and those comics, and we're going to let you know we do a top 5 drop list, and we have a number 1 drop comic of the week, as well as Zach's master opinion on all things that are dropped.
We have 30 years of experience together. Well, I don't know if that's true or not. But
we can't back that up.
We also are the most humble.
All right, here we go. Number 5. We got Amazing Fantasy number 1, volume 2, that is, from 2004. We got this awesome Mark Brooks cover and Fiona Avery. We don't have Princess here, so Zach's going to be the stand-in. You didn't bring that wig. You didn't get the wig on. If you guys don't know about this book, it's first appearance of Anya Corazon, who's also known as Araña, which is Spanish for spider. Yeah, it's kind of nice that you didn't realize it till later unless you speak Espanol.
I know it always.
Okay. All right. But this book got some heat last year when it was confirmed that Isabel Mercedes will portray Araña in the new Madame Web movie that's coming out. So everyone's kind of been wondering whether or not this is going to be good. It's hard to say. It's going to be through Sony. There's a lot of stuff going on. This book has kind of taken like its ups and downs over the past few years because we all know the Madame Web movie's coming out. We all figured Araña was going to be in it possibly because of the comic book background with Madame Web. And now with the confirmation of the actress being connected to it, it took a bigger hike a year ago. We'll have to see. It's only number 5 on the list, so the movie hasn't come out yet. I don't know if I have much faith in the Sony-verse, Like Venom's kind of leading the charge on that as the best movie so far in the Sony. Technically, the Spider-Man's kind of in the Sony-verse, but you know how it goes. Back in the comic books when Madame Web died in the Grim Hunt series, we had Julia Carpenter took over as the new Madame Web, which I believe that might be how it's going to play out in the movie. And then if you didn't know, Araña took up the mantle of Spider-Girl after Julia Carpenter became Madam Web. All kind of connected in that. And, you know, when they brought her back as Aranya during the Spider-Verse, they hey, we like your old costume better, put that back on. And then she kind of helped realize that she doesn't really have a place in the 616 universe because there's too many Spider female characters. So she kind of lets them know that she's going to help protect the multiverse and the totems and stuff and kind of kick it between the multiverse characters. So that's what she's been doing lately. Zach will tell you where she's been.
It was mucho grande a year ago at $200 for a CGC 9.8. Now it's $159. Range is $92, was the low over a year period, and the high was $275. Average sale was $159. It's a 21% drop, not too bad. There's 1,832 total graded, and 888 of them are universal 9.8s.
That's pretty low.
And that's 48%. 48% if my math is right. It could be wrong. It could be right. I don't know. 48% is what
I'm not a mathematician.
Yeah, I just work on airplanes.
I'll take a drink to that 21% drop. No,
yeah, 21% drop, not too bad. I was gonna buy it a little bit lower than this, so you might want to wait a little bit. It's half. I mean, you could probably find this raw, and you got probably about a 50% chance of getting a 9.8 if you get a copy that looks decent. If you have the eye.
Yeah,
pretty good.
This is that time when the paper wasn't too good quality for Marvel. I don't know if it's gotten any better from Marvel wise, but there's a lot of good first appearances in this amazing fantasy series. So, but a lot of them have dropped significantly in price. I think they thought they were going to go that route with the MCU, and they've totally shied away from almost every character that's been introduced in this series. So, Amadeus Cho, haven't showed him at all. No inkling that he's going to show up anytime soon.
And real quick, the percentages for the 9.8s to the total, usually a really good one per ratio is about 20% or lower.
Yeah.
So 48.
That'll give you that extra boost for sure. You know, also give you the extra boost. The number 4, and if you get that sand out of your underwear, because Sandman number 8 from DC Vertigo Comics, 1989. Woo, a little bit older there. Dave McKean and the great Neil Gaiman working on this this great book.
Yeah,
so
good cover.
Yeah, so this is if you guys are unfamiliar with this as well, this first appearance of Death, Dream's sister. I think one of Zach's favorite characters of all time.
One of my favorite characters.
Played by British actor Kirby Howe on the Sandman TV show that aired on Netflix last year. I think actually the first episode aired on August 5th, and I think they aired this like a little like in part, like didn't air it all together. I don't think they did on this one.
I think they released it. No,
yeah, maybe they did all together. Maybe it took people a little while to get to, because the Death episode was about 3 or 4 episodes in before they finally showed her. I think she was really only in 1 episode. Did a good job.
Pretty good job.
You know, we'll see how that goes. Basically, this TV show, well, on Rotten Tomatoes has an 87% rating, which is pretty high. And I think they've already greenlit a season 2. So hopefully we'll see more of Death going forward in this show. But for those of you guys that didn't know her other appearances, and me and Zach were talking about this a little earlier, you have Captain Atom, issue number 42, is her first appearance in continuity, and in Action Comics 894 is her first cover appearance in continuity. Sometimes people get those confused.
Yeah.
So nice to get some extra keys to jump onto, and there is a big editorial variant from Karen Berger, who was actually the editor in charge of all of Vertigo when it was like really at the height of its game, when she was kind of like run the whole show. That book sells for over 2.5 thousand, and it's limited to 600 copies. So if you can get your hands on that one, you won't be sleeping on it.
Oh, very nice. Hardcore death metal a year ago. I was trying to see something that
Death metal.
Death metal a year ago for a CDC 9.8 was $966. Now it's selling for about $552. Range 480 to 975. Average sale is 715. It's a 43% drop. There's a total of 2,904 graded, but only 354 of them are 9.8s universal.
That's a pretty good percentage.
It's a 12%. It's a 12%er. That's
that'll
pretty damn low. This book should command a much higher value for being that low of a percentage. there's a couple of things going on with it. One, it's a little book. The quality paper is probably not as good for, like DC Vertigo. They probably went for a little bit cheaper paper, potentially. And it's all black cover. So if you get a spine tick that's even a little bit color breaking, you see it from a mile away. Super hard to get this book at a 9.8. Get 12%. Exactly.
Yeah. I think a lot of people that were buying, the Sandman series were reading it more than just collecting it. So a lot of people were so intrigued with the story that everybody was reading it. Kind of like Watchmen, like it's really hard to find high-grade copies of Watchmen because everybody read it instead of just collecting it.
True.
Which is what you should do.
As you should.
All right. We made it all the way to number 3 on the list. And if it was a little bit cooler outside, we might be wearing some hoodies because The Hood, number 1, is on the list from 2002. This is actually through Max Comics, Marvel's R-rated explicit series that they put out. Really cool. This is Kyle Holtz on the art, and Brian K. Vaughan actually from Saga actually wrote the story. It's probably why it has some extra good oomph to it. But this is first appearance of Parker Robbins, who is the Hood, and it's kind of cool because this is a story that showcases basically a villain, like a bad guy. So he's always been a bad guy. He's always gonna. I don't know if he's always gonna be a bad guy, but they did a comic where the bad guy is the main character, which is kind of different. And he's basically a thief that comes across like a demon, and he ends up taking his magical hoodie, and it gives him like flying powers and some extra stuff that he can do to make him even more good at stealing and being a bad guy. So pretty cool. This book has also, we've kind of known they wanted to use this character for a long time. So this has been on a lot of, over like the last 3 years, there's been a lot of trending lists, like get it now, maybe he's finally going to come. And last year, about this time, we finally got the confirmation that Anthony Ramos, who we just saw in Transformers Rise of the Beast, was one of the stars, is actually going to be playing him, confirmed, in the Ironheart TV show, in the Riri show. So we are going to see him in there. And if you were wondering where he's actually been in some recent Spider-Man comics with, I think it was in the Black Cat Mary Jane #1 comic where he got to fight against them as well. So, cool character. I've always liked this book, but Zach will hit you with those strong numbers.
Price a year ago, everybody was digging the Hood. Everybody wanted to wear the Hood, right? Then they realized he's wearing a trench coat a year later. Anyways, prices a year ago was $575 for a CGC 9.8. Now it's $290. Range is 167 to 650. Average sales 317. It's a 49% drop. There's 515 total graded, pretty low amount. And 159 of them are 9.8 universal, which is about 31% of the total graded. Pretty good. Nice. I don't know much about this character, to be honest. It's a decent cover. $290, maybe give it a shot. I'd rather buy a raw temp for that 9.8, save a little bit of money. If you fail, oh well, it's a gamble. Everybody likes gambling, right?
The gamble. Roll of the dice. Cool book. Dice. I think it could have some potential to be a really cool character on screen. Mm-hmm. It'll be fun nonetheless. You know what else is fun? The number 2 book on the list, and this is why I like doing this list, because I actually didn't know that much about this book, so it was cool to do some research on it. But we got Pop Kills issue number 4, the Adam Hughes variant. So this is a book that came out in 2021, so 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago, done by Paper Films. So they did a Kickstarter that came out in 2021, and they were trying to raise, they did raise $72,500. And if you were on that list that put in at least $60 for the Kickstarter, then you got an extra copy of issue 3 and issue 4. Ooh. And issue 3 is actually a really cool Bill Sienkiewicz cover. It's also really awesome. And obviously issue 4 is this really awesome Adam Hughes cover. And they I believe only did 270 copies of this book. So the regular issue 4. And last year in 2022 at this time, they released a second print copy of this, which is the nude cover. Basically the same cover, but it's completely nude. We're not going to show you that, but it's the same one. And this one got everyone going crazy because I didn't even know about the first one until the naked one came out. And that one was limited to 1,000 copies. So it's just kind of cool because I had no idea that the original one with the clothes is worth way, way more. That book's like $800 plus in raw, and the naked ones may be like 150 or so. So it's interesting on both of these. I never read this story at all, so I can't speak to the story on it. But Adam Hughes cover looks really, really cool. Super, super limited. I don't know. Zach will hit you with those numbers though.
It was boobalicious a year ago at $1,950 for a CGC 9.8. Now they sagged a little bit at $750 for 9.8. Range $750 to $2,500. Average sale is $1,367. 62% drop. There's 136 total graded. There's 107 9.8 universals. And that's 79% of total.
It's probably
graded.
like everyone that got one sent it in to get it graded immediately. But it's
I have nothing to say about this book. If you like Adam Hughes and like the cover, and you got the extra change, get it. But
there's probably not very many available to sell. I would imagine a lot of the people that have it are keeping it if it's that limited a print run too.
If you like it, if it hits it all in the 3 marks, buy it. And if you have the money, buy it. But if it doesn't hit one of the marks, I don't think you should buy it. Honestly, I think you should pass.
Yeah,
it's a cool book though.
It's cool, yeah. Oh, definitely cool.
Really cool book.
All right, if you guys made it all the way to the end, you get the extra special #1 drop book of the week, and we got Astonishing Ant-Man #6 from 2015. This is Mark Brooks and Nick Spencer. This is the first appearance of Cassie Lang as Stinger, and that's her new ability that she took on in this book when she came back out. And this book got hot a year ago when Ant-Man Quantumanium was coming out, and they were kind of showcasing her new outfit that she was going to be wearing for Cassie in the movie, and everyone thought that it looked really similar to the Stinger outfit, and whether or not they were going to call her Stinger instead of Stature in the movie. And if I recall, I don't know if they actually called her anything in the movie, right?
Cassie.
Yeah, just Cassie. As far as I remember, I don't think they gave her an actual title. But if you guys are unfamiliar with the Cassie Lang character, in Young Avengers, when she first kind of comes out as an adult and has her power, she was actually using the Pym particle and like putting into her body, so she actually could shrink and grow without having a costume on.
Oh.
And that's what kind of made her like kind of special. And she would shrink and grow based on her emotions. So if she was like really angry, she could get really big, and then if she was like scared, she could get small. But she like had to learn to control it. But she would not need like a suit or anything to do that.
Oh, very cool.
And eventually, spoiler, she gets killed in a storyline, and when she's resurrected. She is resurrected as the Stinger, and she actually gets some new abilities, and she wears a costume with a helmet, kind of like her dad. Mm-hmm. And that's when she gets the ability to like control ants, as well as she can like shoot like blasts from her wrist, and she has wings, so she can fly, kind of like the Wasp.
Doesn't the Wasp able to shoot beams of
I think so. She kind of gets a mixture of the Wasp powers as well as like being able to do her thing. But her claim to fame is I think she's one of the people that's grown the biggest in size, so that's kind of a big deal. Cool character. We've obviously not seen the end of Cassie Lang, because even though people did not dig the Quantumania movie as much, I liked it when I first saw it, and then when you went back to watch it, I did realize they way overdid the green screen. Yeah. It's like when you're watching, you don't realize it, and then you're like, okay, they're literally just like talking to each other with a green screen behind them, and it doesn't have the right feeling because they're not walking up and down set pieces, so it kind of throws you off a little bit the more you watch it. I'm rambling on a little bit here, but Cassie Lang also her first appearance reminds me a lot of Magic's first appearance, where it's like her first appearance is her as a little kid in Marvel Premiere 47 with a bunch of other major characters, like Scott Lang's first in costume, Darren Cross, and you're like, hey, here's Cassie Lang as a baby. Magic has her first appearance in Giant Size X-Men, where there's all these huge characters first appearance, and she's just a little kid, little baby at the same time. So you don't really recognize that as like a big key for them, even though it is. But it's hard to kind of chase after that kind of stuff.
Right.
I think, for those two characters. But for this really cool Stinger book, Zach will lay the SWAT on you.
Wow. She was a grower a year ago. For a CGC 9.8 was $218. Now she just a show her because it's now $55. Range $50 to $220. Average sales $125. It's a 75% drop.
75?
75%. There's 159 total graded. There's 95 of them universal 9.8. This is the bargain book. This is so cheap. I mean, I gotta get one. I'm probably gonna have one in my cart by the end of this video. I think this is the steal of the deal of the show. I think this is the bargain book. Now, for the long-term investing book, this one's gonna be kind of hard. This is gonna be a little bit hard. I want to say Sandman. Because it's classic. Also want to say Amazing Fantasy 1. But depending on what they do with the Sandman show and how it's beloved when it first came out in 1980 something, 88 probably. It's either 88 or 89. 89.
Mm-hmm.
I know this book came out in 89, but I don't know if it went back all the way to 88.
Oh,
okay, let's say 89, and it's gained a lot of value. That's over the years. There's a lot of people that love the series. Now we have to go off of that plus the Netflix show, if that's going to have long-lasting gains. If it does, this book has a lot of legs. You might have to wait a little bit, but you could potentially buy a couple of nice cards with this book if you have a 9.8 nice copy. So it's potentially a good book to pick up. I'll say that one's number 1, Sandman number 8, and then the bargain. It's such a good deal. Is Astonishing Ant-Man number 6, and it's a Mark Brooks cover.
Boom.
Boom.
All right, you get the double dose of deals here on the Gaines Show. So, if you guys made it all the way to the end, we're going to let you know what happened to the princess. We're just trolling you. She's on vacation. So.
She left us on vacation.
Yeah. She will be back on Wednesday, hopefully. So we'll see. So, sorry to mess with all you guys. But as always, if you like and love the show, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell so you always know when new things are dropping down. Leave us a comment down below. Let us know if you're angry at us for trolling you guys. But don't be too angry.
Don't be too angry.
Oh, there's Coco.
She made
here.
It.
And,
she's not on vacation.
Yeah, Coco's here. And, yeah. You got anything else to say?
Yeah, sure. How do you do that? Is you have to be in the forest. I might have done this one already. You'll be hunting animals. That's what you do. It's what you're made for. It's what people worship you for.
Oh.
And you're just taking out all these animals and, giving the abilities to everybody else. People burning food for you. You become Artemis, the goddess of the hunt. And that's all I know about Artemis. Don't ask me no questions about Artemis. I think maybe she's the daughter of Zeus, maybe a sister. I think daughter. That's all I know. And that's how you get those gains.
Mm-hmm. All right,
those
guys.
Greek gains.
Until we see you next time, stay safe and remember.
Get those Greek gains.
Get
Greek yogurt.
Greek yogurt gains. Oh, that sounds good.